And we are live. All right. Hello everyone. It is us. It is Pam. It is Virginia. Or it is PS Livingstone, sorry.
And do you know, I think at this point we try to change it from Pam is just irrevocable. So
it's just never there. You can't. You're Pam. Sorry.
Even I comment PS Livingstone and like some of the panels, like, oh, there's Pam, and I'm like, so I think that's stuck. It's all good.
You're trapped. I apologize.
Yep.
I didn't help because
I
I'm really bad at not referring to you as Pam.
It's my name, to be fair.
I am Bridget. Yeah, okay. And you know me, Virginia McClain. We're here to say, holy crap! Another QuaranCon. What are we even called anymore?
No idea.
QuaranCon is done. It's the end. We finished. Congratulations, everyone! Woohoo! Year 3. Honestly, it was amazing. There were so many great panels this year. I really loved our lineup, and our panelists were fabulous as always. Our moderators were on the ball. It was really good.
It was really good, you know, and I think we had such a kind of broad range of experience as well, just in terms of the types of things people are writing and where they're coming from, and and just the types of stories that they're telling were just so many different things that I just kind of coming going, wow, that's a great idea, and that's a great idea. You know, and I kind of interesting, I think was the fantasy versus sort of sci-fi panel, and sort of talk about take everything you love and just jam it into a book. And after kind of QuaranCon, I'm like, yeah, well, this is going to be the weirdest book ever, but I want to put this, and just jam it all into a book and see what happens.
Just do it.
Yeah, no, so yeah, I love that about it. And yeah, it was just fantastic, and the amount of sort of support and outpouring of love for it and enthusiasm, and within the chat and on the panels and in Twitter and the other social media streams that I forget to look at. Yeah, just, you know, so much great stuff. And that's been, it does make it all worth it, because you think, oh, everything that could go wrong, and then it doesn't. It doesn't go wrong. But you know, how many conversations have you and I had? What if that happens? And what if this happens? And what if these things happen? And what if nobody turns up? You know, and that didn't.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen. No. And yeah, I mean, like, you know, there were a couple small fires that on the tech end of things, on the back end of things. But I love, this is one of my favorite things, Pam. It makes me feel very accomplished, because you and I stress out for so long about so many things, and then we stress about fixing things in the background and run around and everybody I talk to is like, oh my gosh, it looks like everything's going so smoothly. Like, what a great convention. Like, everything has gone off without a hitch, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's gone off without a hitch.
Oh, I might have outed us last night at the swearing panel then, because I think I did the duck comparison.
No, but you did. And that's okay, because honestly, I would prefer that people know the reality of it, which is that we are frantic in the behind the scenes trying to keep everything going. And it is not all smooth sailing. But I love that it looks like it is. That's great. That's what we want. It's the same thing with books, right? Like, you want everyone to read the book. They pick it up, they read it, they're like, oh my God, this beautiful prose, this effortless storytelling. Clearly this person is a master of their art, and it's great, right? And meanwhile, they have no idea about the agonizing hours that you spend.
Yeah, an entire hour like moving a comma from one side to the other.
Yeah, or just like all the BS that goes into, like, you know, all the different drafts, and how many people's input went into making it better and beautiful, and like all that stuff. And it's the same kind of deal. It's like, it looks, if we do our job right, it looks effortless. And
it does. And the important thing from that is that, you know, I hope that the panelists and our readers and moderators and workshop presenters, that they didn't feel that stress, that they kind of were able to, you know, because they're giving up their time for free, you know, because we can't pay anybody.
Because we don't charge any money.
No, we don't have any money. You know, they give up their time for free. And I hope that they can come in and just kind of chat to their panelists, or, you know, prepare themselves for whatever they're presenting, and come in, enjoy it, get something positive from it, hopefully some sales and as well, because that's always a boost, you know. And I know a lot of our panelists don't do it for that reason.
No.
You know, they do it because they want to talk to other writers and, you know, and bloggers, and they want to share their experience and get ideas and make connections, because it can be an isolating, lonely job being a writer. And lots of people have other jobs which they work hard at, and then they come home and they're doing it in the wee hours or around childcare or whatever it might be, or caring, or their own things in their life. So when they can come together and, just talk writing with people who get it.
Yeah, totally.
I hope that they feel that is a nice environment that they can do that in. So that's a big part of it for why we do the duck racing paddling thing.
And it's not as though we don't enjoy it and get good things out of it too, right?
Absolutely not, of course.
We love it while it's actually happening. The con itself is very fun for us. There's just a huge amount of work that goes into the before and also the during. But I know exactly, Pam. We hope that our panelists and moderators don't feel the stress that we sometimes do, because that's not the idea. The idea is for everybody else to be having just a great show, and for us to be.
And if it was really that, we're moaning a bit, but if it was really that bad, we wouldn't keep doing it. Sure. And, and I personally, this, convention have made some new contacts that I didn't really know before, and knew of, but perhaps hadn't really talked to as much, even if it was on the Discord, sometimes in, after the panel's finished. And also people that I knew, but perhaps didn't know as well as I do now. Yeah. So, I formed some new relationships, which are really important. So for me, that's been good.
I mean, I make friends every year doing this. Like there's always somebody that I didn't know before that I get to know, and it's just delightful. Like it's really nice to meet new people, and then find somebody that you have a lot in common with, or a little bit in common with, and I
mean, there's a downside as well sometimes, because I mean, you and I didn't know each other before 2020, and now you're stuck with me, so every silver lining has its cloud.
Virginia. Lifelong friend now. I'm sorry, you're stuck with me too, so there.
Yeah, well,
good luck getting me off your floor in Glasgow in 2024.
Yeah. I fully expect this, but it's a sofa. I'm not making you sleep on the floor.
Oh, right. Yeah, get the sofa. Excellent.
Get the sofa. I mean, you have to share it with the cats, but...
Yeah, remind me to bring a ton of allergy meds, okay?
Oh, I've got loads of antihistamines, you're fine.
Okay, great. Anyway, we digress. But I'm seeing some lovely comments in the chat here from people who had a lovely time, audience members, participants, etc. And that really brings me into like the next point. We're going to thank a bunch of people as we go through this. But before we get into the list of volunteers that we want to thank, I just want to thank all the audience members who show up live to events. It really is fabulous as when we're doing these panels to have people there to comment and ask questions and make us feel like it's an event, like it would be if we were having a live one. And so that's really fabulous. And we absolutely, love having people show up and comment and ask questions. And thank you all so much. Anyone who spends time watching our stuff, and enjoying it and commenting on our events. It's absolutely fabulous. And as to our panelists and moderators, whom we are not going to name all of because we don't have as long as that would take, because it's 127 some odd people. We thank you all so much, because for as much work as Pam and I do, none of this would happen without you. So there's just, without y'all, there's no, hi Cedar.
You've grown another arm there, Virginia.
In a moment, yes. But yeah, without our panelists, without our moderators volunteering their time, because again, nobody gets paid for this gig, there's no con. And so thank you all so much for being there, and showing up and having brilliant things to say, etc. There were so many good panels and workshops and readings this year. It's almost impossible to pick highlights, and I kind of don't want to, because I don't want to make anyone feel bad if they don't get mentioned, but I also do want to just like shout out a couple of things that I really loved. For example, last night, I don't know how many people caught it, but Krithika H. Rao's plotting workshop was fabulous, and such a cool framework for plotting, and that also works for editing. Like for me, the things that I came out of there with was like, oh man, I will absolutely steal some of these things for revision passes, because there's some really great ways to prioritize different parts of writing anyway. So I loved that. Also, Krithika's, oh no.
Just clawed me in the bits.
Ah!
Shit.
Yeah, but also like every panel that Krithika was on, she said brilliant things, and so like having a full like hour of her just talking about writing was really amazing. So there was that. Also, pretty much every panel that Patricia Jackson was on was freaking amazing.
Yeah, you and I agreed, I think last night, that we want to be her when we grow up.
Yes, I want to be Patricia Jackson when I grow up. Oh my gosh, so much.
Yeah, there was great stuff. I mean, to be honest, there was every panel of there has been one or two that I have missed simply because I was preparing for one of my own, or dealing with whatever trash fire has happened somewhere. But yeah, so I mean, there was not been a bad one amongst the bunch. The Fantasy Bake Off, I laughed a lot. It was great, and I think just the discussion about what they'd have at a dinner party and who they'd bring, and I was just like, I want to go to those parties.
Right.
And then I think, was it Rachel that ate the bean, the snotty bean?
Yes, Rachel Renner.
I just thought, I'll be back in a minute, off camera.
Yeah,
it was so funny.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. I thought underrepresented mythologies as well. A lot of really good discussion and points made there. And again, obviously they're underrepresented, so probably don't know that much about them. But yeah, I kind of learned a lot from that, and just this sort of, and particularly with this sort of, there was a lot of focus on Slavic there, but just the change in the culture in Europe. Through that mythology of hearing what it used to be and then what we think about now, that was really interesting to me. Just that change in attitude, and obviously there is changing attitudes in the world all the time, but kind of not for the better. In some ways,
sometimes
in terms of what was valued and things, and I thought that was really interesting. The mental health panel, again, I thought was really good. It was very honest and emotional, like your grief panel.
Very emotional.
Very emotional. I mean, as you know, I'm not a particularly demonstrative person, but yeah, I mean, that one got me in the feels too. You made me feel stuff, Virginia. How
sorry, dare you? Not sorry, not actually sorry at all.
And writing rules as well. Just the kind of comparison with like kind of, these are sort of traditional editors, and then RJ just going, no, damn it.
I love that. RJ was just advocating for like, just do what you want,
Yeah, but he makes it work, and he's got a point, but yeah, I think so there was loads of those in particular, just sort of bits and pieces, in part for the kind of comedy, and also just for the way the panels gelled together. Was really, really good. P.L. Stewart's reading was amazing.
Oh yes, so good. What else? Jessa Forrest's reading last night was really good. And I didn't realize her short stories were so dark and impactful. But they were excellent.
It's not bedtime reading.
No, not bedtime reading. I was glad I had one more thing after that to sort of get that out of my head before I went to sleep. I would have probably had nightmares otherwise.
It's quite dark. I enjoyed Annabelle Campbell's reading. I mean, I'm a friend of Annabelle, so I'm quite biased there anyway. But I love that she's getting to the point where she's, reading it out loud now, and I think, again, her, chat was really, really honest, and just about, where she'd been and where she came from. And I think that's encouraging.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A lot of people wanting to start out, especially if they've had a knock from people who really shouldn't have had an opinion about it in the first place. Never take advice from people who you wouldn't ask for it.
Right. Yes, that is fair. I also really enjoyed Quimby Olsen's reading in her fake British accent and silly hats. It was lovely. And I also I enjoyed that book. I read it ages ago. And I think I read an arc. No, I read it right when it came out. Anyway, delightful. Loved it. Oh gosh, I had a list of other things in my head, and then as we started talking, I lost them all. Oh God, I mean, there's so many good things. I really enjoyed the Spiffbo panel today. It's always nice to hear what the latest Spiffbo Sorry, Corey just held up a sign that said pizza ? And I was just like,
yes.
yes.
The answer is always yes.
Answer is always yes to pizza. Really cool to hear how this year's finalists are holding up against the end of the
it's going to be a close one, isn't it?
It is indeed. Also, a highlight for me for the entire weekend was GD Penman's delightful cat ear headphones. Honestly, every panel they were in, I was like, that is a fabulous thing, and it just brightened my day. Also, GD Penman is a delightful human being, and I really enjoyed all of their
are.
Yeah, they're fabulous. It was so nice.
Even if they are from Dundee.
Oh, now come on.
Listen, I don't discriminate. I take the mickey out of Justin from being from Edinburgh. It's a Scottish thing. It's cool. He posts terrible things about Glasgow publicly. This is fine.
I'm giving you a hard time for giving people a hard time because I don't know.
You're my conscience.
Yeah. Am I? Is that it?
Well, you try to be like Jiminy.
We cricket on your shoulder. Okay.
No, sorry, you're not a cricket, you're goose. I forgot.
That is so true. Okay, now
I get to be Maverick, by the way. She gets to be goose. It was decided.
hey, GD's watching, and they say that first that I aim to please, and I believe that was in reference to my delighting in the cat ears, and then rude, and I believe that was directed at you.
I think it was the other way around, but all right. Ray loves me.
Julia Kitvaria-Serene is mentioning the grief, mental health, and neurodiversity panels were my favorites, and I adore how we gave these so much room. I also enjoyed the neurodiversity panel, and the grief panel for me was I'm incredibly biased, but it was a highlight for me as well, actually. It was incredibly cathartic, and it felt like kind of like a group counseling session.
Yeah.
And afterwards I felt like a million times better than I felt in weeks. So
I think what came across for me is that it was a really safe space for people to talk about why they'd written what they'd written and their stories and how it had kind of formed a healing process. And so I think that was a really moving concept in itself for me, just that it did feel incredibly safe, and everybody watching was just like, oh, we're right there with you. And it was lovely. It was really lovely.
Thank you. It was, I was really pleased with how it went in terms of that. I felt like we conveyed a lot of what that whole anthology is about for us. And also like the space that I think we need to make for grief in SFF in general. And
I think space for everything, which is, I hope, where people have said they love neurodiversity or grief and healing and mental health is that, there is space for all of it. And what you and I think have envisioned for QuaranCon is that there is space for all of it here. And, we're going to go from, people eating snot flavored beans and and me doing an epic run on swear, which was cathartic for me because I handle my issues differently in a very sweary Scottish style, which is, bit of a stereotype really, but never mind. But then we also have the really deep emotional things, and and it's what I love about this is that it's a melting pot, and it's a bit of a cliched term, and I can't quite think of a better one, partly because I'm sleep deprived and now slightly tipsy because I think this is the first drink I've had this year. But it is that, and I think just highlighting that there's space for everything and everybody.
Yeah.
And that is what I love about QuaranCon, is that you get from here and everything in between.
Totally.
And there's always somebody who wants to talk about that or be part of that. Which highlights my idea that, it wasn't my idea, I didn't come up with it, but my belief that if you write something you love, somebody else will too.
No, and I think I like, I think that's a good message, right? Like just the idea that there is room in SFF as a, not even a genre because it's a bunch of genres, but as a
speculative fiction umbrella,
as the umbrella genre, right? Like for everything. And there's room at QuaranCon for everything, except for the hateful bits. There's no room for those here.
No, we don't really room for that. But then, you know, nobody needs that. Nobody needs hate in their life. I don't think. No. If somebody wants to try and give me an example, that's fine. I will challenge you on it. But I can't think of a time when hate made something better.
Right. So yeah. And so, but there's room for so much. And we aim to just sort of highlight that, make it all feel like there's space for it, make people feel like there's space for them. And if we can do that in any small way, that's sort of what we're aiming for. But we could wax philosophical about this all day. And we do sometimes.
Sometimes we do. But we do have some people to thank.
Yes.
Specifically, we've thanked everybody, and our panelists and moderators and viewers and everything, but a few people who were behind the scenes, but also in front of the scenes in some cases. Noor Al-Shanti.
Yes.
First of all, who doesn't want to be on screen, which we respect. Does not. We even tried to persuade her that we'd read some of her book while Virginia did interpretive dance, but she wasn't going for it.
Nope. She does not wish to be perceived outside of her books. Oh no, it would have been hilarious, but
if you want to do it now, I can read something.
No, I haven't prepared.
Interpretive dance doesn't need preparation.
I was totally going to prepare.
It's all in the moment.
That's true.
No, so Noor does a tremendous amount behind the scenes. She's been updating Instagram and Twitter, and she's done a lot of the graphics with Virginia and I. She put everything on Facebook, you know, tagging people and getting things together. She also helps with just looking over the schedule when it's done, along with Virginia, and seeing the cock-ups that I've no doubt made. I don't
know about that, but which is like,
I don't actually think I made a major one this year. I don't think I double booked anything.
No,
I definitely did it last year.
You did amazingly well. No, but just like, but Noor helps us. She helps us with the copy we write for everything. She helps us with notes to keep track of what we've already done and what needs to be done, which I need desperately.
She even made like a mental schedule for social media and things like that, with all the alt text put in and everything, and that is time consuming.
So consuming.
We really appreciate her very much.
She does so much behind the scenes.
She does.
It's amazing. And she prefers to stay behind the scenes, but we love her, and everyone should go buy her books. They're on sale and in the book sale. Go find them.
Yes. Sorry. Don't delay, because the book sale ends tonight. So go get them. Well, not right now because we're talking, but in a minute.
You can open it in another tab.
As long as you're still focused.
Because we're very important.
I'd like to justify this, but clearly not. Next on my list to thank is David Green, who scheduled our readings, contacting all our readers, and he's also a judge for both the short fiction and the best worst lines. So we really appreciate doing all that and keeping tabs with us, connecting with us when things were people were unsure, or you know, people had to make last minute changes in their lives. You know, and he stepped up and just contacted people and things, and he was great. So thank you to Dave.
Yes. Thank you,
Dave.
To
Amanda. Go read his books too, yes.
And
definitely.
In Solitude's Shadow is in the book sale as well. Sorry.
It is.
Yep, plugging that.
Fine, give me a chance to drink. To Amanda, AM Justice, who organises our short fiction contest and who was with me at the awards ceremony. She's also sort of one of our organisers behind the scenes. So she coordinated all the short fiction, collated it all, sent out to judges, made sure everything was, you know, totted up correctly. And she did, of course, buy us a goat. Yes, absolutely. And she's also very good at, so need someone to moderate this. It's like, I'll do it, you know, and Dave's the same, stepping up where we have gaps. And that makes our lives a lot easier.
Amanda's books are also in the sale.
They are indeed.
Wizard's Forge and
Wizard's Sacrifice.
Are both in there. Sorry.
All right. SM Hardy, or Sue, writes to Sue Tingy as well. She does crime and sort of more fantasy stuff, so she has 2 pen names. She's been one of our judges, I think every year.
Probably, yeah. At
Since
least
we
definitely
started.
last year and this year, and possibly the first year too, I think.
For short fiction again, and for best words lines, because again, if you need someone, I'll do it. fantastic. Just, so great about just stepping up for things. So thank you so much. And for sticking with us for so very long. To Damien Larkin, who was on our Writing Fight Scenes panel this evening. He was a judge for short fiction last year and this year. And it does take time to read all these and to discuss and to give your scores and things. So thank you. To Hannah Williams, our judge again for Best Worst Lines. She did it last year as well. So very kind. Annabelle Campbell, who also did a reading. She was our judge for short fiction. And again, everybody did it within the time frame when they were asked. So we didn't have to chase anything. So that was amazing. And we know these people all have very busy lives. And one more shout out just to Ashley Capes, who was not involved in anything this year because they are extremely busy working lots and lots of jobs and doing lots of things. But they helped us with panel selection and workshop selection and things, and just sort of basic discussion in the early part of QuaranCon when we were deciding what the hell are we going to do.
Totally.
And they had some excellent input there. So thank you to Ashley.
Yeah. And I will thank my tech crew. So massive shout out to TL Greylock. Taya, you are amazing. To Claire Brislin, and to Ryan Cahill. All three of them are fabulous. If you were on any of our panels in any capacity or did a workshop or a reading, you met one of us. But that is the four of us split all the tech.
I did one whole one.
And Pam, that's right. Pam did a reading too. Thank you, Pam. You are amazing.
No, I'm really not. These guys were like
your amazingness later.
No, don't.
No, I have to. You can't stop.
No, I don't. No.
It's
I was joking about the tech thing. I did 1.5 hour reading, and that was it for the entire con. I'm going to finish
thanking my techies, and then you're going to have to sit there and listen to me say nice things about you.
No, but your techs were amazing, and just keeping on the chat, keeping an eye on things, and coping admirably when there was hiccups. And just, but you know what? But not losing it, and just being professional and getting it done, and that was amazing.
Yep. It was absolutely amazing. And honestly, we were really lucky this year that like any of the times we had weird things that made a panel start late, it happened to be at a time for a panel that was able to go a little bit late. So
yes,
that was very lucky, but also
it was the universe paying us back after all the email nightmare.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, the email nightmare. I'd almost forgotten. Almost as traumatizing as the copy paste incident of 2022.
Bad wicks.
But I'm sorry, Pam. I am gonna thank you. You can't stop me.
Well, the streams that I can leave.
Well, you could, and then I get to sit here and just say nice things about you without you even here to contradict me. So brilliant. But Pam does such amazing work doing our scheduling, taking everyone's 127 people, is that what we said it was, their availabilities, the panels that they're interested in being on, time zones. Time zones, they're the worst. They're very useful, but they're the worst. And turning it all into the whole schedule that you saw and enjoyed. And thank you so much, Pam, for that. Because without, seriously, it's not something that my brain can do. If you didn't do it, I don't know who would, not me. So there would be no QuaranCon. So thank you very, very much. And in addition to that, you're a delightful human and a lovely friend, and I love you. So there.
I love you.
Ha. Take that.
Okay, well, here comes the back serve. You will sit there and you will take it and you will like it. So yes, so I'm going to say thank you to Virginia. I think we all know this was her brainchild, which I kind of just hopped on board and was like, oh, that's a great idea. Hello. But it was, in a time when I think back in 2020, and I know people are still struggling, and it is still really hard, especially when there seems to be people who just don't care out there. And I won't go on a rant about that, but at a time when I think we didn't know what was happening and it was all really scary and we were all stuck at home and we didn't know if there was going to be enough toilet paper or, things, and everybody was just like really isolated. She came up with this great idea. Give her one for me, Corey. He can't hear me, can he?
He can't. Although I think he must have been watching in the other room.
I got ditched. Andrew's not here. It's fine. He better be watching or he'll be in trouble. But no, I tell you what, when I think we just didn't know and we needed to connect, and it was all thrown together in a matter of weeks, but it worked, and we've learned a lot from it, and we've grown it, and it's become something that I think matters to an awful lot of people. It matters a lot to me. It helped me through a lot of difficult time. I'm going to do a slight plug here. The QuaranCon, my lighting's terrible, which angers Virginia. I know it does, but it makes me look better.
It does not.
But Through Shadows anthology, if you've read it, you'll know that I wrote the foreword for that. And I've talked a little bit about what it meant to me to be able to connect. And I would not have met all the great people that I've met and the connections that I've made and the people that have made me very happy in days when I wasn't feeling good. And I was dealing with a lot of personal stuff, just lost all my confidence and felt like I didn't know what I wanted to do. And that was in big part down to a bullying situation. And jumping on with this gave me the opportunity to feel useful and wanted and, you know, be part of a community that I think I didn't know how to get into, really, in the way that I have now and that I feel a part of.
Yeah.
And so that's down to your openness on somebody you didn't know and didn't really have anything out there at the time. I was like, I'll come and help. And you're like, yeah, okay, great. No questions asked, you know, and that's an important thing for somebody on the outside. And it's why QuaranCon is so important to me, that we bring everybody and debut authors and people who are not published yet or are trying to get there together to learn and be a community. So I want to thank you for having a brain that did that. And I want to thank you for all the tech work you do behind the scenes, all the training, making sure people know what they're doing and feeling confident. You know, I'm not a tech person. I've learned loads from Virginia, and I've been able to take what she's taught me and apply it to things like WorldCon, Glasgow in 2024, and teach other people what she's taught me. So that's pretty cool. So how was that for a serve?
Thank you.
Yeah, I shouldn't have had a drink. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling feelings again.
You're feeling feelings again. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh God.
You're human after all.
Right, make them go away. I'm like Data in that episode where he got an emotion chip and didn't know what to do with it.
But I think I'm gonna take some of those points and run with them, and just that, like, yeah, like the community is the reason we keep doing this. And it's the reason that it matters, I think, to be able to connect other authors with each other. I mean, like, I love the connections that I make every time we do this, but I also love seeing the connections happen between other authors and bloggers and reviewers and editors and everybody. And just, I think there is a really lovely core of people in the SFF community, and I love that we've sort of, found that, and we're inviting as many of those people as we can in every year, and that we're adding to it every year. And I want it to be more people, because there is a really great supportive community out there. There's also some communities that aren't that great, and there's like, and Twitter can be a whole thing, and Facebook can be like, there's in any of the communities where we meet, there's always the chance that you'll stumble across the people who aren't that fun, because they don't see it as a community, they see it as competition, or because they don't see it as a community, they see it as, I don't know, as they're just like constantly selling to everyone all the time without actually willing to engage with anyone. But I think that we found a good group of folks who aren't doing that, and I hope that we can foster that more, and bring in more people and include more people every time that we do this. And if we do it again, that each year will be more inclusive than the last, and we'll bring in more people from more places.
Yeah,
that's the end.
And we're learning too.
Of course.
We started this, on a two stars and a wish, and I hope that we build on that and learn lessons and know how to go about.
apparently
Your
about to have a
beer
drink.
arrived.
My beer has arrived. I am delighted with this development.
She's literally staring at that beer like,
darling.
Beer.
I haven't had a drink in weeks. Because I've
You're gonna be
been
like me in a minute.
Yeah, well, exactly. I will. I've been too tired, right? Like you spend all day doing this stuff, and then I'm like, by the time I could have a beer because I don't have any more things to do, it's like just bedtime.
Yeah, you're just like, that's not a good idea.
Like, I might as well just go to sleep. And if I have it earlier than that, I'll fall asleep before I'm done with stuff. So
yeah, not a good idea. Fair enough.
Cheers. Ooh, that's not bad.
Cheers.
I don't know what that is, but
ding ding. I'm drinking good and Scottish.
Ooh, there you go. Glava.
All
right.
Yeah. It's a perfect harmony of honey, spices, tangerines, and blended whiskey.
That sounds delicious.
It is delicious. It's very sweet and very strong. It's like, I don't know.
This is a
35% proof.
Something, but I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to ask Corey. Actually, Corey, if you're watching, put in the comments, what is this beer that I'm drinking? Because I think he's watching in the kitchen. So we'll wait for that to show up. Well, did we thank everybody? I think we did.
I just want to congratulate our contest winners.
Yes, let's do that.
So for our short fiction, in reverse order from second runner-up all the way up was Pat Blake, Jean M. Lavasseur, and J.W. Allen. Okay, which we will be in contact with your prizes and details of that in the next day or so. And for our best worst lines, Swordson, C.M. Kaplan, and Clayton Snyder, the winner of the Golden Turd. Which
cheers. Oh, okay, apparently. It's the Ode Brune. Sorry. Okay, thank you.
Ode Brune.
Congratulations to all the winners. Very well done or very poorly done on purpose.
Yes.
That's the case.
I think Crystal Matar's words earlier, if anyone deserved a golden turd, it was Clayton. And I thought that was a really lovely sentiment.
Clayton is a dear, sweet friend, and he
is a nice man.
Excellent writer. And but he absolutely did create an absolutely golden turd of a sentence. So I think
he did. Yeah. And he has confirmed that he does hate soup.
Yes, that's true.
For those of you who were wondering.
Accurate. He's got a thing against soup.
He does. I actually don't know why. He confirmed that he did, but I didn't get the story behind it. So I might
either. I look forward
to probe that one a little deeper.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you. We'll be in touch to give you your prizes and get your addresses and things so that we can send things out to you. Feedback form, that was the other thing we were going to talk about.
Thank you. Yes. So I think we did this last year as well. We are going to do it again and try to get it even more widely filled out. We are going to be making a feedback form and sending it out. We're going to tweet it to our Twitter community. We will email it to everyone who is on our permanent list. We'll also send it. This will be the last email that you'll get from us as a panelist, because we added you all to my newsletter thing just so that I could actually email you without bouncing out of inboxes. I will email those folks again, and that'll be like the final thing before you. If you want to hear from me again, you'll have to subscribe to our actual list. So yes, anyway, that'll be a feedback form. You'll be able to say what you thought was great, hopefully, but also what you thought needs improvement. And we would love to hear from everyone. People who are both from people who are on panels and in panels, and as well as audience members. We would like to get a range of responses, and we would like you to indicate which you were. Were you a panelist? Were you a moderator? Were you an audience member? Or
workshop presenter or reader.
Workshop presenter or reader. Thank you. Sorry. Apparently 2 sips of beer in my
beer and that's you done.
just gone. So we'll be sending that out. Look for that in the next few days. We'd like to get feedback while it's all fresh in everyone's minds. But in the meantime, Pam and I are going to sleep a whole bunch.
Oh, you might.
I might. Okay, well, Pam may not because that's a struggle. But we're going to rest. How about that?
Because I'm a vampire, apparently.
Fair.
Or a robot. I've been accused of both in the last week. So a vampire robot.
Ooh.
I quite like that.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
So look out for that. In the meantime, though, Virginia and I did decide to be brave, and since we want to make this interactive, a space for people to feel as though they're at it is a real convention. I take that back.
Yeah, we're not a fake convention. We're just a virtual.
No, not a fake convention. You didn't imagine us, because I mean, really, if you were going to imagine us, this probably wouldn't be happening right now. You could come up with something much better. Since you're also talented and creative writers, you'd not have imagined this.
I would be a dragon for one thing.
Yes, and I would be a vampire robot.
Yeah, exactly. At the
very least, or some kind of Hydra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hello, Cedar, my love. So, got the Hydra hair anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Which so badly needs cut, because I actually get to the point now where sometimes I sit up and I've caught it under my armpit, and I actually trap myself in my own hair.
Jeez. That sounds like
I got it stuck in my coat jacket the other day, and I was trying to get it on, and I was like this, and I was stuck inside my own coat. It was terrible.
It's been decades since my hair was long enough to get caught in anything. I
just have been lazy about getting it cut, but it's starting to get unwieldy.
Well, fair enough. Well, we're starting to lose people's interest here. So, all right, come on, bring in the questions. We're losing audience. If you have
we didn't actually say that's what we're going to do. If you have questions, please ask them in chat now. We'll do our best to answer. If you have any comments that you'd like us to read out.
I'm just going to start reading the chat aloud. Honestly.
Okay.
So, first of all, Kitvaria joined really early, and bonus points for being the first comment, Kitvaria. She says, "Wee! Hi there." And then Diana Gunn chimed in with, "I had so much fun both in the panel I was on and the ones I attended." Thanks, Diana. Kitvaria said, "It was fantastic. Some of the best panels I've seen so far. Especially loved the many diverse topics." And good old GD Penman said, "Thanks for a wonderful con." SG Blaze says, "I had a blast. Thank you for having me." Kitvaria says, "Yes, it looked absolutely professional from this end." Corey Tickner, I don't know who that miscreant is, says, "Congrats, you two. You're both legends, and your team of volunteers is amazing." Zach Argyle.
Corey.
Zach Argyle says, "A huge thank you for organizing everything with that many panels, with that many panelists across that many time zones. It's an insane amount of work to have everything go so smoothly." AF Stewart says, "The con was tons of fun. Thank you so much for all the hard work, you and all the volunteers." Diana Gunn says, "Cat," which I believe was in reference to your cat, or maybe someone. Joyce Hertzhoff says, "It was a great experience again. Thanks, Virginia, Pam, and everyone behind the scenes." GD Finman shouts, "Cat."
Yeah, they've been surprisingly good actually throughout this. I didn't get bombed too many times.
Misty says, "I didn't miss it. Hello, everyone." Kitvaria says, "The grief, mental health, and neurodiversity panels were some of my favorites. I adore how you gave those so much room." Kitvaria says, Ava Stewart says, "Jess is a fabulous writer." Kitvaria says, "Yes, all the indies. Another thing I love about this specific con." GD Pittman says, "Rude."
He retracted his comment, so he doesn't agree with you. That's proof.
Intisar says, "The grief panel was so moving for me too." Anita says, "Yeah, the swearing panel was a treat." GG says, "Taya hype." My daughter says, "Being weird" on my face. Misty says, "Hit that thumbs up button, people." And another successful QuaranCon. Cheers, folks. Have a great night. This is definitely my favorite event, and this year was yet another step up. I can't even imagine how you'd improve on this. Well, we've got a couple ideas, so watch out. Caitlin Turner says,
"It's not happening."
Yeah, I actually just skipped those. Although I do think that a Catboy panel would be amazing.
Although I love their commitment and enthusiasm and determination to make it happen, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and go, it's not happening.
Caitlin Turner says, "Thank you for an awesome convention and making it accessible to everyone." Yay!
Butter oil.
And Kitvaria says, "I'm amused to watch you watching you two have any." I don't know what any questions. You're wonderful. Thank you, Kitvaria. B Foreman says, "Thank you so much for all your efforts. I haven't been able to listen to everything yet, but I have them downloaded to enjoy them as I have time." Thank you again.
Oh,
You're very welcome. They'll remain streaming for almost just about everything will be indefinitely up. We have a couple of workshops that will come down after a limited period of time. Krithika H. Rao's workshop will come down in a month, and Levi Jacobs' workshop will also come down.
Oh, that was great.
6 weeks. Yeah. So anyone who would like to take advantage of those, do that sooner rather than later. Those will come down as they are revenue streams for those authors. But everything else will stay up forever. Or well, I don't want to say forever, indefinitely. I like to use indefinitely.
Until YouTube dies.
Exactly. You never know when YouTube's just going to implode or the world will end or whatever. I don't want to pretend that we will survive that somehow.
Eli loves me.
Aw. No one has any questions. People are just shouting lovely things at us, which is very nice. Yeah, I don't know that we have anything else all that useful to say.
No, I mean, if there's really no questions, it means we covered everything without anybody ever having to ask. So what can you say?
Brilliant. Lovely.
I'm actually pretty surprised that either Crystal or Connor didn't pile in and go, "Are you doing it next year?"
I
know, because I was full on expecting that.
I don't even see them in there. They're not. They haven't.
Obviously, anything. After saying they wanted us to run it again next year, they obviously didn't love us enough to show up. So,
well, maybe we won't do it then.
Yeah, I think not. I think that's justification. And to be honest, I didn't want to do this, but if it doesn't happen next year, everyone, it's Connor and Crystal's fault.
Oh man.
And you just got to call it the way it is.
Wow. All right. Whereas Gray has just decided they've said see you next year.
Yeah, Gray's turning up, cat ears regardless.
It's like I'm gonna be there with my cat ears. And fair enough. No, honestly, it's so lovely, and I really hope we can do it again. It does take enough time. Like I've been saying to people as we go through setup. I don't know if people like. It's different at every level of volunteering, but for Pam and I, for me specifically, it is the same amount of effort I put into writing and editing and launching a novel. Like that's how much of my energy it takes. And so, that's fine. It's a lovely thing to have. Like the end product is just about as satisfying as having a novel out, but it also is a time in which I am not writing a novel.
Yes, it's a time where I'm not editing or ghostwriting or doing my own stuff, and I'm happy to give up that time
totally
if it's wanted and if it's appreciated, which
it seems
all evidence suggests that it is. So that's great. We will be looking for volunteers for next year.
Yes,
if we do run it, we do need a little bit of a bigger team. Mm-hmm. So we will reach out to people who, and a few of you have already approached us and said, listen, we'll come on board next year. We'll do something. We want to be part of this. And that's fantastic. They've loved it so much. They want to be a part of creating it. And that is a huge compliment. Yes. So we will definitely, if we decide, and Virginia will have our breakdown meeting next week after our breakdowns. Agreed. And we'll discuss, about that, about what we're going to do and how we can improve if there's things to improve on, which there no doubt is. What went well, etc. And we'll have that discussion. So if anyone is interested in coming on board, we need people to tweet things. Just people who want to be like, QuaranCon's coming up in 2 months. Look out for this, so that we reach the diverse audience that we want to reach. Yeah. So even if all you can do is, I'll tweet some stuff for you, that is help we need.
Totally.
Because it's building a team. Yeah.
We would love to have like a little social media team. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. So if you think I can't commit to organising a con, that's okay. There are things that everybody can do. Somebody to help us with some data entry. I know there are people out there who love spreadsheets. I'm not one of them, but there are people who love them. In fact, my friend Eve would marry a spreadsheet if she wasn't already married to a lovely man that she loves very much. I know she would. That's Dixon Rule for those of you who want to read her books, which are great. Nearly got book 4 out. In fact, she's a machine.
Yeah. Excellent.
So that kind of thing, helping us maybe organise, taking responsibility for a workshop or whatever it is. But if anybody'd like to get involved, please get in touch with us. The more people we have, the more likely it is that it'll run. Not that you should consider that a bribe at all. I don't think it's a good way to say that, so I'm going to have to stick with it.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? It takes a lot of work. We have the smallest volunteer team that we've had so far this year. Our volunteers who are still with us are amazing, and we don't hold it against anyone who couldn't volunteer with us this year. We had a lot of people who left for very specific life reasons, like certain events were coming up in their lives that they just could not do this and that at the same time. and we like 100% respect that and would not expect anybody, but
No.
even for just the reason of like, you know what, it's just too much time and I can't just do my normal life while also doing that, and therefore I can't do it, is a perfectly valid response. I mean, like, we don't expect anyone to be able to give up their time for this.
No.
We don't even expect it of ourselves half the time, but we do that we can with what we've got. But we would love to have more help. So anyone who is keen to volunteer, let us know, and we will let you know what we need and see if there's a match somewhere, because there's definitely some stuff we could use help with for next year. And every year so far, we've been starting a little bit earlier. And I think that is all to the good in terms of reducing overall stress levels and making everything more manageable. So the sooner you let us know that you're willing to help for next year, the more likely next year is to happen.
Yeah.
Because we're going to start planning even earlier. And if we know we've got a good team ready, that'll help a lot. So yeah, reach out if there's something that you would like to do to help QuaranCon. We would love to have you. But again, we don't expect anybody to be able to do it. So don't feel bad if you can't. But if you can want to, we'd love to have you.
You know, a retweet
is
as good. If that's what you can offer, that we would love that, you know. And I will one more time remind, if anybody would like to buy us a coffee.
True. Yes.
You know, I think last I looked, we reached maybe 65% of our goal.
Awesome.
In about a couple of days, because we were at like 1% of our goal. We went up to like 65, but you know, all we need maybe a couple $100 more to completely cover the cost of the con. So, you know, if you can offer us $1 or $2, I don't know what that is in actual British money, because
less than a pound.
Less than a pound.
No, like $2 would be more than a pound, but $1 is substantially.
Well, I tell you what, a Starbucks coffee, other retailers are available, and you should support your local coffee shop. But you know, a grande latte will set you back about £4. So 5 days of content for £1, bargain.
True.
So if you can, great. If you can't, we know it's really hard out there. But
and we want to
tweet is also great.
Exactly. We want to keep the con free for everybody forever. That's important to us. It's one of the accessibility pieces that we love out of what we can do. So yeah, a little chipping in whatever you can is great. But there's so many ways to help out, and retweeting the coffee link is also useful. So thank you. Yeah, I think that covers just about everything. We've gotten more people asking. Corey Tickner asks, are you doing it next year? All right, we have had multiple people say, are you doing it next year? The coffee thing is on the website. Yes. So Kit Varia just asked, people are asking, where do you donate? So if you go to the QuaranCon, go to QuaranCon2022.com.
Do you want me to link it quickly in the site?
Sure, you can link it there. But if you just go to our website, there's a big button at the on the site that's our coffee page. But there's also the actual, Pam's going to pop the coffee link into the thing, and you can donate there. I
will also put it in the permanent comments later.
Yeah, that'd be great. There you go. So that's us. But again, nobody needs to feel like they have to do that. We want QuaranCon to be free. We don't want everyone to have to pay, but we do pay our expenses out of pocket. That covers the website. It covers the pro Zoom accounts that we use for the month. And that is the other thing, is that I'm going to try to get a slightly bigger tech team together, which will cost, it's like $20 per account basically. But it's just for the month. And so with, we could add maybe $40 to our expenses and cover and have like, a team of 6 instead of a team of 4. And that might be kind of amazing in terms of the amount that everyone does. So anyway, yeah, thank you everyone. Seriously, thank you for your support. Thank you for all the encouraging words. Everybody who said something nice, honestly, in the last few weeks, we feel it deeply. We love it. It makes us feel like we should do this again. So thank you all for the encouragement and for showing up and shouting nice things at us and our panelists and our moderators and everybody. It's really a lovely feeling to feel like.
Let me know when you're gonna go, okay?
I'll let you know. It's gonna be soon. Cedar's gonna she wants to say goodbye when we say goodbye. Quite so right. So yes, everyone check out the link that Connor, I am paying you all of the money. Connor, don't. just a little bit of the money, not all the money. But seriously, yeah, we're really happy to do this and have this community happen. It's delightful. I don't want us to sound like we're like, oh, the work. That's not it. It's really fun,
No.
or we wouldn't do it.
No.
But it is also a lot of work. And so, yeah, so like the more help we have, the better. So we're basically, this is just a call for volunteers and donations to help make it a little bit easier. And that would be great.
Yeah. So, and to be fair, you know, you've seen us on screen, you know what you're getting yourself into. So,
right. If you look at this and think that we're not a hot mess under the surface, I don't know what you're saying.
We've told you no lies. We haven't made anything up here. This is what you get.
We're a hot mess doing the best it can.
Yeah. 12 raccoons in a trench coat over there.
12 raccoons in a trench coat right here.
And the vamp bot over here. This is what you get. But yeah, I will say that I have rarely laughed as much as I have when organising QuaranCon, because sometimes you just have to, and it gets crazy and mental, but wonderfully funny. It's that tears through joy sometimes / drama.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yes.
laughing, laugh till you cry, cry till you laugh. Yeah,
that kind of thing. But but there have been some amazing moments too, and I wouldn't change that for the world.
It's delightful.
Yes.
My daughter is about to jump in and try to steal the show, so maybe now is a good time to say goodbye.
I think it probably is.
But thank you all so much. We love you. Hopefully we'll see you next year. Do let us know if you want to volunteer. Sign up for this awesomeness.
Yeah, it's like,
woohoo! Yeah.
Who can say no?
Who can say no?
Bye.
Everybody.
Everybody. All right, that's it. I'm hitting the big red button. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.